is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckeye Show with the Man Hour Short of manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page or check out the blog section as well. But if you're listening to us on podcast form, be sure to subscribe to that podcast. Like it with a couple friends. Share it with a couple friends, I should say. Like, comment, and subscribe. This is a live, interactive show. The only true place where you can get live, raw, and uncut NFL talk every Monday through Friday, 2:30 East Coast time, right here at Facebook.com and, of course, YouTube.com as well. As we go through these summer months here, the dog days of summer, as they'd like to say, we are breaking down each and every NFL schedule moving forward. Last week we did the AFC East. This week we're venturing over to the AFC West. That is the Kansas City Chiefs, the LA Chargers, the Denver Broncos, and of course the Las Vegas Raiders. Put some respect on their name because the Raiders are them. Not really. But today here on Monday's show, we are going to be talking about the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers had a rough, lackluster couple years. Let's just be honest. Let's just be flat out honest about it. Last season, they finished the season rough. They finished the season real rough. From week 10 to week 18, they lost 8 of their last 9 games. They had losses versus Detroit, Packers, Ravens, Denver, Raiders, Buffalo Bills, Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs. All very, very horrible games. One of which was a Thursday night game versus the Las Vegas Raiders, 63-21. In 2023, the Los Angeles Chargers ended up finishing 5-12 on the NFL campaign. So we flash forward to 2024 NFL offseason. What did they do? They fired their head coach. They fired their general manager. They brought in Jim Harbaugh, bring in Joe Ortiz as their general manager, traded Keenan Allen, let Mike Williams walk. Actually, they traded him as well. They brought in pretty much a whole brand new offensive roster. When we look at their offensive roster right now, their quarterback is Justin Herbert. Running backs, they have a couple of old Baltimore Ravens running backs in here with Gus Edwards, Gus the Bus, and J.K. Dobbins. You know, the Joe Ortiz magic there happening. And then you got Joshua Palmer sitting at wide receiver, Quentin Johnson, and Ladd McConkey as well. Will Dissey has a little bit of tied in. And quite frankly, the Los Angeles Chargers guys They do have one of the worst wide receiver cores in all of NFL. They have the worst NFL receiver core in all of NFL. Is right there in LA. So Chargers fans, let me ask you guys this question. Let's ask you guys flat out. Are the Chargers going to be any good this season whatsoever? Are the Chargers going to be able to hang with the likelihoods of the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders? Are they going to be able to hang with them at all? The one good thing that the Los Angeles Chargers have for them going this season is they do have a very, very favorable schedule. Their schedule is very favorable for them to win a lot of easy games. If they could win some of these easy games to start the season off, maybe some momentum gets happening. Maybe that confidence starts to build. Maybe, just maybe, they could pull out a 9-win season. Maybe, just maybe, they could pull out a 10-win season. Maybe, just maybe, they'll be able to, make the playoffs. But before we get too carried away into that, we have to talk about more of their offseason moves. Obviously, they let go Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Both were able to find other teams, Austin Eckler as well. This year in the draft, they drafted number 5 overall and drafted some Joe Alt, drafted the receiver Ladd McConkey as well. And then they went defense. Junior Colson, Justin, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, but they went some defense, right? They did some defense, and bada bing, bada boom. Okay, now we rolling. But I can tell you this right off the start. I do not like the Los Angeles Chargers this season. I don't think they're going to be very good. I think they're going to be lackluster at best. With that being said, let's jump into it. Week number one, right off the bat, they're at home, taking on the old mighty Las Vegas Raiders. We have spoke briefly about the Las Vegas Raiders. We have spoken about how I think they might not have a very good season. I've talked about, you know what, maybe, just maybe, the Chargers are not the real deal, or the Raiders are not the real deal like many of you people think they are. But week number 1, the Chargers might possibly have a home field advantage for the first time ever at SoFi Stadium. New general manager, new head coach, new running backs. The Chargers get the win week number 1. They pull it out 17-10. Nice slug it out, pounding on the ground game, because that's going to be a lot of the Chargers' MO this season. A lot of their MO this season is going to be run the ball a lot. Run it, and run it some more. Because like I said, they do have the worst receiving core in all of NFL. Patriots aren't worse. The Panthers aren't worse. The Ravens aren't worse. Worst receiver core is in Los Angeles, and that is with the LA Chargers. But they do start the season off 1-0, I should say. They do beat the Raiders. Give us a week 2 matchup. This week 2 matchup is very, very intriguing. They travel on the road to Carolina to take on Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. I have had the opportunity now to watch a little bit of Carolina's OTAs and minicamps to really start breaking down their season, because we're breaking down the NFC South here in a few weeks, so I want to get my ducks in a row. When I'm looking at the Carolina Panthers, they have one of the worst wide receiving cores out there as well. So basically it comes down to who has the better running game at this particular point. And as of right now, week 2, I do have the Chargers going into Carolina and winning this game. I do have them going into Carolina and starting off the season 2-0. However, let's put an asterisk by this week 2 game. Let's put a caveat in this week 2 game, right? This is a 1 o'clock kickoff time on the East Coast when the Chargers do play the Carolina Panthers. So in the bodies of those California people out there, it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. However, still young season, right? Still only week 2 of the season, so maybe that time isn't going to quite affect their bodies. But however, put an asterisk by that. If you're a betting man, think of a slow start for the Chargers. Think of a nice sluggish game. Going to be a really low-scoring game, probably 9-3, 9-6. No faith in the Carolina Panthers whatsoever. If you are a Carolina Panthers fan, I'm sorry. You guys got a lot of dog days ahead of you. We're going to find out who the real fans are here really, really quick. But however, the Chargers are 2-0 right now. Wins over the Raiders, wins over the Panthers, going into week 3 matchup versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The old mighty Pittsburgh Steelers. Who is their quarterback going to be? Could be Russ, could be Justin Fields, could be a mixture of both. But a wise man once said, if you think you have 2 quarterbacks, you have 0 quarterbacks. And Mike Tomlin is a wise old man. I've said it when we spoke about the Pittsburgh Steelers a little while ago with my man Steelberg. Be sure to go check him out on the old TikTok. Russell Wilson just doesn't have to suck for the Pittsburgh Steelers for them to be pretty good. They have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They have a pretty good running back in Najee Harris. They probably have a top 10 wide receiver core. Everything that the Los Angeles Chargers do not have. The Los Angeles Chargers are lost all game long in Pittsburgh. They are lost from the first snap to the last snap. They just want to go home at this particular point. They have now traveled to the East Coast twice, 2 1 o'clock kickoffs games. They just want to get home. They want to get home and they want some fresh cooking, and they lose this game. It's going to be bad. It is going to be a bad, bad game for Justin Herbert. It's going to be a bad, bad game for that bad receiving core. J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards might have 50, 60 yards apiece. But other than that, it's going to be ugly. Giving us a week 4 matchup. The matchup that we're all looking for, right? The matchup that we want to see. Back at home, SoFi Stadium, Kansas City Chiefs coming to town, reigning Super Bowl champions, taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I have the Chargers season going 2 ways here. If they win this game, I think they will have a winning season. If they lose this game, I think they will have a losing season. I think they'll have a bad season. Earlier today, I did have the Chargers stepping up and beating the Kansas City Chiefs. Earlier today, I did have Justin Herbert and Joshua Palmer and those guys knocking down the reigning Super Bowl champions, back-to-back Super Bowl champions, I might add. But was that trying to me being, not be the homer, right? I am a Chiefs fan right there. Chiefs Kingdom, baby, all day long. Was I trying to make it so, hey, I like the Chiefs, but, they're bound to drop one of these games. Then I went back, diagnosed some film, watched some film, watched the Los Angeles Chargers throw the deep ball, watched their defense during OTAs and minicamp. I don't think the Chargers can hang with the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think there's any way, shape, or form that the Los Angeles Chargers can hang with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs will have a top 3 defense in the NFL. The Chiefs do still have Patrick Mahomes. They've gotten better this offseason. Yes, they did lose Snead, right? But hey, addition by subtraction, just like with Tyreek Hill. Addition by subtraction. I do have the Chargers losing this season, going 2-2 on the season so far, going into a week 5 bye week. Early bye week is bad news for the LA Chargers. Now, they did have a couple rough games. Maybe a bye week is what they needed. Okay, let's track that back. They're 2-2 on the season. Wins over the Raiders, wins over the Panthers, bad loss versus the Steelers, and then a close loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe they just need a bye week and reset. Maybe old Jim Harbaugh needs to, reel it in a little bit. Maybe Jim Ortiz is out there trying to make some type of in-season trade. We know with the Baltimore Ravens, he liked to make some in-season trades. Maybe right now they're testing the wide receiver market. Who was out there? Our wide receiver core is terrible. Who was out there? Who is willing to maybe give us a receiver for a second-round pick, third-round pick? Who was out there? I think there's going to be a lot of movement come week 5, and all that starts to get underneath the team's skin. All that kind of starts to upset the team a little bit. Maybe laser focus, right? Give us the week 6 matchup. AFC West division rivals. Chargers travel to Mile High Stadium to take on the Denver Broncos. One thing about the Denver Broncos is they do have a true home field advantage. When you go from sea level to a mile high above sea level, there is a huge altitude change. It's harder to breathe. You just feel sluggish. You might feel sick, right? Hopefully, Jim Harbaugh gets the boys there a few days early to acclimate. But I don't think it really matters because the Broncos are not going to be that good. The Broncos are just going to shit the bed in this one. At this particular point in the season, the Broncos may not even know who their starting quarterback is. Is it Jarrett Stidham? Is it Bo Nix? Is it Zach Wilson? Who is it going to be? We'll be talking with my man Mark from NFL Experts here on Wednesday, so maybe he can get some insights on it, but I think the Chargers win this game. They snapped a 2-game losing streak, giving a win over the Denver Broncos, making them 3-2 on the season, going into a Week 7 matchup back on the road versus Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are a team that could be a lot of what-ifs, right? What if Kyler Murray is the former shell of himself prior to his ACL injury? What if Marvin Harrison Jr. is the man, the myth, the legend? What if they can actually play some defense? What if, right? And right now, the what ifs are outweighing a lot of the knowns for the Arizona Cardinals. And I don't think the Arizona Cardinals are going to be that good this season either. I think they are a bottom feeder team as well, much like the Chargers. But I do think the Chargers win this Week 7 matchup versus the Arizona Cardinals, giving them their 4th win of the season. They are now 4-2. 2 games, 2 wins in a row. Looking pretty nice, right? Pretty nice. However, records lie. Records lie. The Chargers at the particular point might be 4-2. Might be first place in the AFC West, but records lie. What do I mean by that? I mean that they have played some pretty easy games. Let's just be flat out honest about it. They played some easy games. They played the Raiders. They played the Panthers. They played the Broncos. And they played the Cardinals. All very winnable games. This next stretch of games, this week 9 through week 16, it is tough. You are going to have to really love your Los Angeles Chargers to be talking any positive about them moving forward whatsoever. Receiving core is going to get exposed. Justin Herbert's going to get exposed. That defense is going to get walked all over. Jim Harbaugh is going to be questioning his life going from Michigan to LA. Jim Ortiz is going to be like, Joe Ortiz is going to be like, why did I leave Baltimore to come here? First of this stretch here is the Saints. Derek Carr comes into town, whoops that ass. It's not even close. Week 9, they travel to Cleveland to take on to Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. That game is not even a slugfest. It is a one-hitter quitter for the Browns. 2 losses in a row. Week 10, back at home, taking on Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans. A much improved Tennessee Titans team. A Tennessee Titans team that you probably don't want to play. A Tennessee Titans team that's pretty good in my eyes. Pretty good. Let me bring my schedule back up here. They lose that game. 3 losses in a row now. Losses to the Saints. Losses to the Browns. Loss to the Titans. Give us a week 11 matchup versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Guess what? That's another loss. Yet another loss for the old mighty Los Angeles Chargers. But you're thinking at some point, it's got to get easier, right? It's got to get easier for the Los Angeles Chargers. They played the Browns, Titans, and Bengals all back-to-back weeks. No, it doesn't. Give us a week 12 matchup versus at least it's at home, versus Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens. This is another one-hitter quitter. Lamar Jackson and the rest of the team is just way too much for the LA Chargers at this particular point. The Chargers now have 5 losses in a row. Okay. It's got to get better. Let's go back out to the West Coast, huh? Let's go back out to the West Coast and play another 1 o'clock game. Their third 1 o'clock game here on the West Coast. So far, they're 1-1 on the West Coast at 1 o'clock games. Well, guess what? They're going to be 1-2. Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons is too much for the Chargers in week 13. Week 13 is not lucky for the Chargers and this one dropping their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th game in a row. Okay. Week 14's got to get easier, right? It's got to get easier. Nope. You play a Sunday night football game at Arrowhead on December 8th. Early December, Sunday night football game at Arrowhead. Not only is that place going to be loud, it's going to be pretty chilly. You're from California. You don't like cold. Chiefs fans are going to be rowdy, drunk, and their cousins are going to be all over there. It's going to be a whole family reunion. Yeah, you may have battled the Chiefs earlier back in week 4? Played it pretty close. Let's say 2017. Confidence was sky high then. Well, right now, gosh, confidence is going low right now. 6 losses in a row. You can't even lay your head on the pillow right at this particular point. Justin Herbert might be benched. They may have cleaned house on the receiver corps. You guys are terrible. Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins are the only bright spots and only getting 40 yards a game. They get beat down by the Kansas City Chiefs. Making it 7 losses in a row. Okay. Week 15. Let's go back home. Give us something at this point, right? Let's get a break. No. Next up, you play a damn good Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. You play a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that, quote, shocked some people last season. If you listen to the Man Hour, which you should, I told you the Buccaneers were going to go to the playoffs. I told you the Buccaneers may make a deep playoff run. Baker Mayfield's the man, the myth, the legend. The Buccaneers solidified that. They let you know that Baker Mayfield is their guy moving forward by his nice contract. The Buccaneers still have a receiver by the name of Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. They still have a pretty good offensive line. Their defense is aging, but still pretty damn good. Still too much for the Chargers. Still too much for the Chargers. That's now 8 losses in a row. That's 8 losses in a row now. Like, what is going on at this point? What's going on? Chargers, do something. Okay. Let's welcome Denver Broncos into town. Let's welcome them into town. Maybe, just maybe, we can finally beat a team. The Denver Broncos, we have already beat them once this season. Let's make it twice. Let's make it twice and see what happens. Well, guess what? Not only do you lose to the Denver Broncos, you have now lost 9 games in a row. You are looking terrible. You're questioning life. You are questioning a lot of aspects of your life right now. Like, what do we do? 9 losses in a row, starting with the Saints back in week 7, 8, going all the way to week 16. What? Losses to the Saints, Browns, Titans, Bengals, Ravens, Falcons, Chiefs, Buccaneers, and now the Denver Broncos all in a row. Week 17, give us something. Give us something. Actually, you don't want to win at this point. At this point, you only have 4 wins on the season. You might get a first overall pick. Let's go to Foxborough and just lay an egg. We've been doing it for the last 12 weeks. Why not do it again? But you don't. When you want to lose, you decide to win, and you beat the New England Patriots. It might be a 6-3 score, but you win. When we talk about bad receiving cores, the bottom 5 of the league, guess who two are there? The Patriots and the Chargers. You're just that much worse than the Patriots at the particular point. But hey, you get the win. You get the win. Give us a Week 18 matchup. Final game of the season. The loser gets the first overall pick. Wasn't it a couple years ago, guys, when the Chargers and the Raiders were both battling for the playoffs, and I believe it was the Chargers coach like, "Hey, let's just tie. We both make it," and the Chargers lose this game, and people are like, "Oh, that's dumb, whatever." Right? Ever since then, the Chargers have kind of been cursed. They've been cursed, and Week 18, they do beat the Las Vegas Raiders. Not only do they not get the first overall pick, they're now picking like 6th or 7th. 6th or 7th. And I'm giving them a 6-11 record. I think the Chargers finished 6-11 this season, and they dropped 9 games in a row. 9 games in a row. But I want you guys to flash back to the Week 4 game. That Week 4 game versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Right? My eyes are burning. Like I said earlier, that Kansas City Chiefs game could make or break their season. Earlier today, I did have the Kansas City Chiefs beating or losing to the Chargers. But last second, right before the show came on, I was like, no. That's not going to happen. But I had them going 6-11 on this NFL season. Let me know what you guys think. We got my man WB Ant in the chat. He says, on paper, the Chargers look good, and they have a new coach, but they definitely got a tough schedule. Where on paper do the Chargers look good, Ant? Show me where. The running back room with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards? Aren't they both coming off ACL injuries? The only bright spot of the Chargers is potentially Justin Herbert. Yes, you got Samuel Jr. in the secondary, right? You got Derwin James in the secondary. But besides that, who? I mean, I guess you could throw Joey Bosa in there, right? But if I am any NFL team, if I have a running play called to Joey Bosa's side, I want to say kill, 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 and check it and run the other way. Nowhere do the Chargers look good on paper, Ant. Now, I guess you could talk potential. Potential Ladd McConkey can do well if he's healthy. Potential Joshua Palmer could be good if he's healthy. Quentin Johnson, yes, he was buried by Keenan Allen and Mike Williams last season. We don't really know what he's got. I think the Chargers are the worst team on paper, offensive-wise. Defense, they do got a couple bright spots. Joey Bosa, obviously. Derwin James, I think he could be okay. But to say they look good on paper? Slow it down, baby. Slow it down. And as far as their schedule, the hardest part about their schedule is kind of traveling west. Travel west versus the Panthers, Steelers, and the Patriots. And then they also play the, what's the other 1 o'clock game that they play on the east coast there? Is it the Steelers? It's the Bengals, isn't it? Yeah, nope. Cleveland. I see a stretch between, what is that? Week 16 to week 9, 8. That's a tough-ass schedule. That is a tough-ass schedule. And they're not very good. I don't care about the head coach. I don't care about the GM. They're not very good. Casey Morgan's in the chat. What's up, Casey? He says, Chargers are always that team looks good on paper, then pick to win the division, but when it comes down to game time, fans are poking them with the stick, hoping they do something. Facts. Facts. Now, in Chargers fans' defense, they did have arguably one of the worst coaches of all time. I gotta remember their old coach's name. How did he completely have a job after those blunders last 2-3 seasons is beyond me. Were they afraid to fire him or what? I don't know. But yes, the Chargers historically have had a pretty good team on roster. You get on the field, 5-12, 7-10. That's about it. WBN says Gus Edwards is solid. Solid quarterback, Bosa and Mack. Solid secondary. They beefed up the old line. They have a young receiver core, just got to develop. I'm pretty sure Khalil Mack is no longer on the team. I believe they had traded Khalil Mack, if I'm not mistaken. No, he's still there. I lied. They have him listed as a strong side linebacker. So that is my question. So they're going from a 3-4. I mean, they're running a 3-4, which Khalil Mack usually walks up. I don't know. Khalil Mack's what, 32, 33 years old? How old is Khalil Mack? 33 years old. Getting a little long in the tooth. He did have a pretty good season last year, right? Wasn't it one game he had like 5 sacks or something? Something crazy. But let me know what you guys think. I have the Chargers going 6-11 on the season. spoiler alert, at first I had them going 8-9, but I flip-flopped the Chiefs win from week 4, and then I flip-flopped the Broncos week 16. So I did flip those two. I think pre-show my gut instincts like no. But let me know what you guys think. Until then, we out.